Thank you, Lascan Corla, and thank you to Deputy Holly Kearns and the Social Democrats for bringing forward this motion today. Now, when we talk about the cost of disability, what are we talking about? We're talking about the extra costs that a person with a disability incurs in their day-to-day life simply because they have a disability. And you know, in some ways, there's something deeply unfair about that, because having a disability in the first place is often a massive extra challenge for that person. But on top of that, facing extra financial costs, and in most cases, costs that they absolutely cannot afford. As I said, there's something just deeply unfair about that. And the reality is that in Ireland, according to the Indicon report that many people have referred to, this report on the cost of disability, they make a very important point about the participation of people with disabilities in the labour market. It's one of the lowest in Europe. So therefore, we have this double-edged sword in a way, that the extra costs that people incur because of their disability, the vast majority of them, because they are not able to access employment, are not able to cover those extra costs. So while I know it's not mentioned in this motion, and it is a separate issue, I think it's an extremely important issue about the fact that people with disabilities in Ireland have among the lowest participation in the labour market in Europe. So it doesn't allow people the chance to be independent. Now, because of the situation we're in at the moment, the state has to step in, representing society and the common good, and provide the extra assistance that's asked for here. And I fully support the call for a disability payment of at least €20 per week in budget 2023, and also an increase in the disability allowance of at least €15 per week. Those are short-term measures, and they can be brought in September. But of course, the longer-term measures, which are also included in this motion, is to look at the Disability in Ireland report and to ensure that that will inform policy decisions in the future, because that's based on really good information. The Indicon report tells us that households spend an average of €9,000 plus additional money every year. I was privileged to launch with Family Carers Ireland and the Vincentian Partnership a report on the cost of disability just a few months ago here in the AV room, where they looked at the minimum essential standard of living for a two-parent household caring for an adolescent child who had a profound intellectual disability. And what they found was that the extra cost, and this was very detailed work, the extra cost was around €12,000 per annum. And as Deputy Connolly said, extra costs vary across different types of disability. And if you look at the Indicon report and look at the detail, the granular detail, you see that families spend a higher proportion of their income on food, clothing, fuel, light, transport and household goods. And we all know that the price of food, fuel, electricity and transport have all significantly increased in the last 12 months. So households who have a person with a disability as a member of that household are being hit harder by inflation and the cost of living increase. And that's just another reason why I fully support this motion from Deputy Holly Kearns.